Good day. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show. This is episode 109, May 2nd, 2019. I want to pretty much talk about Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. I just want to talk about this divisiveness, and what these two women are saying and the irony that's going on here and really what our values are as Americans. And then I want to talk a little bit about another example of the divisiveness, and this is the attacks on George Washington and getting rid of his statues, changing the name of George Washington University, this shame of George Washington, and how a small group of agitators are really trying to they're changing America. They want to completely change our history. Really no sense of pride with our country or for those freedoms that we've really enjoyed. And then I want to mention a little bit about Bob Barr in front of Congress yesterday and the divisiveness there, and mention what James Comey weighs in on it, ironically. And then I want to close with an uplifting thought about a really good book on boundaries and helping in relationships. So on Tuesday, Ilhan Omar, this is a Daily Caller story. Representative Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, they spoke at a rally. And this was a rally organized by the Movement for Black Lives. And also an anti-Trump event at the Capitol. The rally was branded "Black Women in Defense of Ilhan Omar." Okay, so that was the rally. So I guess it's just black women. I mean, I guess white women or brown women, other women, Native American women were not, I guess, invited to this. I still really cringe when we have to talk about the color of our skin. I mean, just right off the bat, why? And so my point here and my question is, the left is calling us, they call Donald Trump so divisive. This is why Joe Biden has to run for the third time as president of the United States. Even though he promised he was never going to run again, he is going to run just because Donald Trump, at Charlottesville, is just supporting the white supremacists and the KKK. This is just so untrue. And so we are going to have this rally, Black Women in Defense of Ilhan Omar. Well, sure, they can have the rally. Of course, they can speak their piece. As I say, in America, you have to be free to be stupid. And so let them speak their piece. So Ilhan Omar, she got up and she talked and she said, the thing that upsets the occupant of the White House, his goons, in the Republican Party. Okay, so that's me. I'm a member of the Republican Party, so I'm a goon. Okay, notice remember, it's Trump and his supporters that are very divisive, not Ilhan Omar. And she goes on and says, many of our colleagues in the Democrat Party is that they can't stand that a refugee, a black woman, an immigrant, a Muslim shows up in Congress, thinks she's equal to them. Where do we go with this? Okay, she's not a refugee anymore, right? And she was a refugee. And do we care that she's a refugee? Do we care that she's black? Do we care that she's an immigrant? Do we even care she's Muslim? Do we care? So if we do not like Ilhan Omar's politics, if we don't like her policies, she just says, oh, you don't like me because I'm black. You don't like, you hate refugees. You hate black people. You hate immigrants. You hate Muslims. You hate women. I mean, we don't care. We don't care about any of that. We don't care. She then went on to imply that President Trump and his supporters were responsible for the anti-Semitic shooting at Chabad of Poway Synagogue. The occupant, okay, Ilhan Omar goes on, the occupant of the White House and his allies are doing everything that they can to distance themselves and misinform the public from the monsters that they created that is terrorizing the Jewish community and the Muslim community. Because when we are talking about anti-Semitism, we must also talk about Islamophobia. It's two sides of the same coin of bigotry. What we are fighting for is not for the few, but for the many. Every single one. Just this week, when we've had an attack in California on a synagogue, it's the same person who's accusing of attempting to bomb a mosque, she continued. Her use of the phrase same person is likely in reference to the white male shooters who have been identified as suspects or arrested in relation to the recent mass shootings at places of worship in Pittsburgh, New Zealand, and now San Diego. Later in her speech, Omar stated, "This is not going to be the country of the xenophobics. This is not going to be the country of white people. This is not going to be the country of the few. This is the country of the many." I mean, what in the world is she talking about? We're not going to be the country of white people? Where is she getting this information from? We're not going to be the country of the xenophobics? Is America afraid of immigration? More people want to come to the United States than any other country. We are letting millions of people come into this country. We're the most open country in the world. What is she talking about? That we're xenophobic? Oh, because we'll criticize Ilhan Omar? Oh, we can't ever criticize her. So she's going to blame Donald Trump for the shooting in San Diego on Jews? That crazy guy who hates Donald Trump publicly excoriated him? Ilhan Omar is just a complete crazed out person. I mean, I just don't understand where she's getting all this information from. It's interesting. Let's look at her tweets recently. Okay. Oh, she's got one new tweet. Her pinned tweet is, "This country was founded on the ideas of justice, of liberty, of the pursuit of happiness. But these core beliefs are under threat each and every day. We are under threat by an administration that would rather cage children than pass comprehensive immigration reform." Who wants to pass comprehensive immigration reform? Who's asking to do that? Donald Trump is trying. He's asking. They won't talk to him. Nancy Pelosi goes, "Not $1 for your wall." Nancy Pelosi doesn't want anything to do with Donald Trump on immigration reform. No, the Democrats have dug their heels in. No, they're not going to give Donald Trump a win on immigration. No, so they're going to do nothing. So they oppose him at every turn on immigration. They opposed him on the travel ban, on that immigration. Oh, but the courts won. Donald won in the courts. Who built those cages? Okay, those are holding rooms or whatever. Those had to set up pretty fast in 2014. Those when Jay Jensen was walking through there. Obama's Department of Homeland Security, I think that's who he was, head. Johnson was. He built those. There was a flood of immigrants across the border. He built those holding rooms in those, with those fences. He had to build those rather quickly. He was the one who was putting children in there and other families, illegal aliens, people who are breaking into this country illegally. Yes, he did that. Donald Trump's not into this caging children thing. That is a lie. That is a flat out lie. Okay? Those are not cages. Okay? He was holding, we were trying to stop catch and release that President Obama was doing. You come to this country, oh, I want asylum. Asylum, asylum. Oh, okay, come back for your court date. Oh, they never come back. Oh, they're in the country. Oh, wow, that's easy. Oh, just say asylum, 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 I want asylum, and you're in. Oh, then Ilhan Omar just tweeted, eliminating student debt is overwhelmingly popular. Oh, free money is popular in America. 82% of those paying off loans, oh, wow. That is amazing. So the people who have loans, 82% of them who say, if we do away with your debt, it's interesting, 18% of the people are not supportive of the government just paying off their loans. 77% of 2020 primary voters, the majority of Americans, the American people are with us. Oh yeah, it's a strong brown, arm going up there. Oh yeah, she's all excited about that. Wow. 57% of Americans have already paid off their student loans to support this. Oh yeah, let's go over to Bill Gates' house and let's just steal all of his money. Oh, how many people are going to vote for that? I mean, this is just totally retarded. So Ilhan Omar, she tweets 6 hours ago, it's time to hold him and an administration accountable. We are the land of laws and no one should be above it. Because Nancy Pelosi says, Attorney General Barr's decision to mislead the public in his testimony to Congress was not a technicality. It was a crime. Okay, there we go. So, we're a land of laws. That's right, Ilhan. We have a constitution. Oh, guess what? We have separation of powers. Yes, you are a Congress lady. Yes, you are. You have Article 1 powers. Oh, Donald Trump has Article 2 powers. And he has an attorney general. And his name is Bob Barr. Right? And he is in the executive branch. Oh, yes. Okay? So, yes, Nancy, you can't just boss the executive branch around and vice versa. And then I wanted to touch on Iraq. And this is what's going on. So a Fox News article says Ilhan Omar faces a backlash after complaining about the United States bullying. I meant to say Venezuela. In Venezuela. She was told PBS Democracy Now! She said a lot of the policies that we have put in place has kind of helped lead the devastation in Venezuela. And we have sort of set the stage for where we are arriving today. This particular bullying and the use of sanctions to eventually intervene and make regime change really does not help the people of countries like Venezuela. And it certainly does not help, and it's not in the interest of the United States. Oh, wow, we're bullying her. Oh, so it's not because of socialism. It's not because Maduro, kicked out Congress and took over the country. Oh, it's not that like 50 other countries support the United States in supporting Guaido, the leader of Congress. No, Maduro is not even president of the country anymore. No, the Congress is now in power, and Guaido is what 50 countries believe. Now Cuba's not one of them, and neither is Russia, and probably not China. Okay, yeah, our mortal enemies. Oh, what about Iran? Do you think Iran supports them? Or Somalia? I doubt it. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. So anyhow, Ilhan Omar is blaming the United States for the problems in Venezuela. Oh yeah, socialism out in the open. You spend, oh, it's great at first. You take all the money from the rich people and you give it to the poor people until you run out of rich people money. Yeah, American countries have been fleeing Venezuela for years. And why? Because of our sanctions? No, Ilhan, you can just, are you pals with Vladimir Putin, the Russians who are protecting Maduro? I mean, really, have you been taking PAC money from the Russians? Ilhan, I'm very confused what's going on here. No, this is super sad. No, Ilhan Omar she's gonna buddy around Linda Sarsour. That's who she's gonna, hang out with. A person who tweeted in 2012, "What am I supposed to do? Give State of Israel a high five for occupying my people for the past 64 years? Wow, my critics need new material." Yeah. So anyhow, she doesn't consider just the West Bank occupied, but all of Israel, because 1948 is when the UN set that up. Israel, by definition, and a two-state solution. No, the Arabs aren't going to. They've never supported two-state solution. Never. No, Israel has, but no, they've never. So, there's Ilhan Omar for you. She is a real treat, really treat. And I want to contrast that also with another example. This is in the press. I heard Michael Knowles talking about this today in his podcast about, there's some students now, the student body, they want to change George Washington University. So Michael Knowles was pointing out that Donald Trump is so good at predicting what's going to happen. And so back in Charlottesville, when we're overturning like the Robert E. Lee statues, Donald Trump was going, "Oh, what, is George Washington next? He had slaves." Or what about Thomas Jefferson? Is he next? Are we going to change history, change our culture, not look for the positive things that happen? I mean, this reminds me of Michelle Obama complaining that the White House was built by slaves. I mean, these kind of claims, it's totally ridiculous. and just totally, just so down on this country. It's like these people just hate our country. I mean, George Washington, the founder, of our country, probably the most popular person, American ever, most respected, probably the best president that we've ever had. He fought for this country. He fought tyranny. And yet these students say, well, we don't want to be the colonials. We don't like this. I mean we're a bunch of, this is like we're a bunch of imperialists. They said the colonials was extremely offensive, but not only to students in the university, but the nation and the world at large. They hate this. They don't like the colonials moniker. They don't even like George Washington. They don't like the name of George Washington now. They want to change the university name. They want to change it. They want to get rid of George Washington. George Will's got a hilarious PragerU video about this. About they want to change it. And he suggested maybe we should use a name for George, like Washington, D.C. Maybe we should name it like Elantra, like Hyundai uses. It makes up these names for cars, like Elantra, or Versa, or something like that. Just make up some names. Oh no, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, these guys were all evil people. Evil. I mean, this is our history. These are our values. I mean, there's totally changing history. What kind of values are we going to go off of? Oh, just our feelings? So anyhow, it's very disappointing. And so I wanted to finish out talking about Bob Barr and the Democrats. So their Attorney General, Bill Barr, I'm sorry, I'm calling him Bob, William Barr. And so he was in front of the Democrats again, and they were just wailing on him. Dick Blumenthal, Democrat senator from Kentucky, just said, We have to stop using the criminal justice. Well, this is what William Barr said. We have to stop using the criminal justice process as a political weapon. It's going back and forth with Dick Blumenthal. And so, anyhow, this is fascinating. And then Blumenthal said, I think history will judge you harshly, and accused him of using his summary of Mueller's probe to exonerate Trump of obstruction of justice. The senator called Barr the fall guy for this report. And then Barr replied back, this is from a Fox News article, I didn't exonerate. I said that we did not believe that there was sufficient evidence to establish obstruction. And then Barr said, the job of the Justice Department is now over. The report is now in the hands of the American people. Everyone can decide for themselves. There's an election in 18 months. That's a very democratic process, but we're out of it. So anyhow, and then Hirono, oh yeah, the famous senator from Hawaii, she accused Barr of lying. She said, Mr. Barr, now the American people know that you are no different from Rudy Giuliani or Kellyanne Conway or any of the other people who sacrificed their once decent reputation for the grifter and liar who sits in the Oval Office. Lindsey Graham stepped in and said, you slander this man from top to bottom. You know, this is so fascinating here. So the Democrats are just going after Bill Barr. I mean, just going after him. And they're just slandering President Trump's name. Oh, yeah, remember when Candace Owens was being grilled by the Democrats in that House, whatever that was, committee meeting? And that she was accused of calling one of the representatives stupid, which she didn't do, but he just interrupted her and slammed her. You know, so wow, I mean, what is going on? I like how Lindsey Graham at least is trying to step in here. So these Democrat senators will slander the president's name in this committee hearing. Very, very, I am so surprised. Gosh, you know what? I thought the Republicans were just the divisive ones. This is the last news story I wanted to end with. And this is just, you know, I actually saw this. So I had a friend post this on Facebook and just said, ouch, wow. James Comey. Oh, he's giving an opinion piece. Oh, and where do you think this one is published? Oh, yes, it's the New York Times, of course. And of course, at the very end, there's a little plug for his book. Yeah, this is the author. Oh, James Comey is the former FBI director under Obama, right? And he, for a little bit under Trump, until Trump fired him. Oh, yeah. Hillary Clinton, the day before Trump fired Comey, Hillary Clinton said publicly, oh, yeah, I would fire James Comey. Oh, yeah, I would get rid of him. So Trump fires James Comey, and oh, my heavens. Oh, that was it. That was it. Oh, we got to have a special probe. Oh, that was it. Oh, Donald Trump. Oh, this was such a setup. This is unbelievable. And so James Comey says, oh, yeah, I wanted to tell you the name of his book. You know, not that you want to go buy it. Oh, this is the title of James Comey's book, A Higher Loyalty, Truth, Lies, and Leadership. Oh, he's such a Boy Scout, this James Comey. This is entitled, James Comey, How Trump Co-op Leaders Like Bill Barr, Accomplished People Lacking Inner Strength Can't Resist the Compromises Necessary to Survive This President. People have been asking me hard questions. What happened to the leaders in the Trump administration, especially the Attorney General, Bill Barr, who I have said was due the benefit of the doubt? How could Mr. Barr, a bright and accomplished lawyer, start channeling the president and using words like collusion and FBI spying and downplaying acts of obstruction of justice as products of the president being frustrated and angry, something he would never say to justify the thousands of crimes prosecuted every day that are the product of frustration and anger. How could he write and say things about the report by Robert Mueller, the special counsel, that were apparently so misleading that they prompted written protests from the special counsel himself? How could Mr. Barr go before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Wednesday and downplay President Trump's attempt to fire Mr. Mueller before he completed his work? I mean, this is such, is this coming from the Onion, or is this from the Babylon Bee? Oh yeah. So Robert Mueller, he did protest. Oh yeah, he leaked the letter also. Do you think Bill Barr leaked that letter? Oh no. Oh, Robert Mueller leaked the letter. Oh, it's hilarious. Newt Gingrich was so good on this. Mueller had 2 years and his Democrat lawyers to write the report up. And now Mueller's complaining that the press is misinterpreting the report. Who cares? Really? Really? Mueller had to give the report to Bill Barr and the deputy Rosenstein. And guess what? Those guys, even Mueller knows that those guys decide if there's enough evidence for obstruction. See, we've moved the goalpost now. The collusion thing is done. Now we've moved on to something else. Okay, here's the fishing expedition. No, we've moved on to obstruction because there was no collusion. There was no treason. Even Robert Mueller says that. So now we've got to move on to obstruction. So Donald Trump, there's no crime. He could fire Mueller at any time. There is no obstruction of justice here. Oh, Bob Mueller, just says, well, Donald Trump was resisting here, and he was threatening this, and he was shouting here, and he was cussing here. Oh, wow, no crime. These are not crimes. Okay, they are not crimes. And then you've got the not fired yet Judge Andrew Napolitano says, oh yeah, this is obstruction. This is obstruction. Oh, just because he didn't do it doesn't mean it's not obstruction. Nixon didn't have to perform all those crimes himself. Nixon was asking and paying for people to do criminal activity. Donald Trump could have fired Mueller anytime he wanted to. He had the legal right to fire Bob Mueller anytime he wanted. Donald Trump was the boss, and he could have fired Mueller because he didn't like the color tie he had on. That is not obstruction of justice. So anyhow, just unbelievable hilarity there. James Comey. Yeah, no, he doesn't have an axe to grind. Oh, there's no sour grapes with James Comey. Maybe he's wrong. Yeah, maybe James Comey is wrong. James Comey has no credibility at all on either side. But now that he's attacking Donald Trump, oh yeah. Oh, the left is in love with James Comey. Oh yeah, they used to hate his guts, but now they're in love with him. So funny. A really great book on boundaries. This is written by Henry Cloud and John Townsend. So I was listening to the Mormon Marriage podcast with Nate Bagley and his wife Angelin, and they were talking about this. And this is such a great book, and that's a great podcast, by the way, too. And this episode was really good. Those guys did, and it's talking about boundaries. And if your spouse you feel like your spouse is not making some good improvements, or things that you're having a really hard time to deal with, it's really good. I love the story that Nate and Angelin shared in reference to this book and setting boundaries. Nate was always on time at church, and Angelin was always late, and this was creating a rift in their marriage. And so Nate basically said to Angelin, I love you, I want to go to church with you, but I really do want to be on time for various reasons, whatever he said. And he said, at 10:20, church starts at 10:30, just takes a couple minutes to drive there. At 10:20, I'm going to leave to go to church, like tomorrow. He gave her some time, and he said, I really want you to come with me. I love you. It would be great if we go together. But if not, I'm leaving by myself. And then you can take your own car, and I'll meet you there, and I'll save you a seat in the pew, and I'll see you there. So sure enough, Sunday, she was late, not ready. He went to church. She got all mad. This took a while, a few months, but finally Angeline kind of caught on that, hey, this is, Nate really wants to be on time. And, I want to go to church with him, so I'm going to be ready on time. So it's just a really cool little story, I thought, about boundaries and, what could be important in a marriage. Of course, there's give and take here with boundaries. And this book talks about that. It's good, and it comes from a Christian perspective. Really, really awesome book, Boundaries by Henry Cloud and John Townsend. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Subscribe at iTunes or watch on YouTube. Have a great day. Bye-bye.